With just one win in their last 4 games across all competitions, Chelsea are currently going through something that the club have not experienced ever since Thomas Tuchel arrived at Stamford Bridge. The latest result against Zenit St Petersburg in the Champions League was not a standalone event, and questions are now being asked of the German tactician. Barcelona's senior management had a crisis meeting following their elimination from the Champions League. Was the Bayern Munich defeat a turning point for the club? AC Milan are reportedly interested in signing another player from Lille during the winter transfer window, following a serious injury to experienced centre-back Simon Kjaer. Meanwhile, the Rossoneri might have a hard time holding on to one of their star performers, who has alerted Manchester City. So then, loads of things to talk about, so if you like the video, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and get ready for your daily dose of all things football. The reigning Premier League champions are reportedly eager to bring in Portugal international João Felix to the Etihad. The young forward is currently under contract at Atletico Madrid, who spent quite a fortune to acquire his services a couple of years ago. However, Felix has not been able to make the desired impact, with Diego Simeone struggling to get the best out of one of the most exciting young players in the world. And Felix himself believes that his abilities are not particularly synced with Atletico's style of play. Reports claim that Jorge Mendes is trying to facilitate a transfer to the Premier League, with Manchester City keen on signing the youngster. Pep Guardiola is apparently a huge fan, but it remains to be seen whether the remaining Spanish champions will actually be willing to let go of their star forward for anything less than €150 million. And in case the Felix move does not work out, the citizens have already decided on an alternative in AC Milan forward Rafael Leao. Guardiola is also a huge fan of the Milan youngster, who still has a few years left on his deal and is valued at €25 million according to Transfermarkt. With a contract that will expire in June 2026, Milan are not really eager to let go of the young forward, who's still only 22 and is going to get better with time. The Rossoneri are planning to improve the 22-year-old's salary. The Italians are confident that they will tie down Leao to a fresh deal, which means that City will probably have to look elsewhere. In the aftermath of the elimination from the Champions League, the strongmen of Barcelona held a crisis meeting to discuss the rest of the season. Second in Group E before their trip to Bavaria on Wednesday night, Barcelona had no room for error against Bayern Munich. Unfortunately, at the Allianz Arena, the Blaugrana sank again by suffering a heavy 3-0 defeat, and at the same time, Benfica disposed of Dinamo Kiev, thus snatching the second qualifying place for the knockout stages of the competition at the expense of Barca. A real shipwreck for Xavi Hernandez's team, who will have to deal with the Europa League in a few months. Quickly, President Joan Laporta reacted to this big disappointment. Now more than ever, we must row together in the same direction. The players tried, but it was not possible. We are sad, but we must move forward to reverse this situation. Everyone at the club is worried, but are eager to act quickly to get back on the right track, and Barca quickly took matters into their own hands the next day. According to Sport, an emergency meeting was held on Thursday before training at the club's training centre. President Laporta and coach Xavi had a long discussion, also in the company of Vice President Rafael Just, Director of Football Matteo Alemany, Ferran Reverter and Jordi Cruyff, who is the Director of the International Scouting. So there were a lot of people at this meeting to analyse the sad performance in Munich and the elimination. Obviously, everyone agreed to say that the club needs to do much better now, and that another poor performance like that of Wednesday night should never happen again. But above all, Joan Laporta promised his new manager that he would do everything to bring him reinforcements in the winter transfer window, despite a complicated financial situation. And if it's necessary to part with unimportant players, Barca will do so to reduce their payroll and not be on the wrong side of financial fair play with new arrivals. Very soon, another Lille player could be arriving at the San Siro. According to Corriere dello Sport, the Rossoneri are looking to make a move for Lille defender Sven Botman. The young Dutchman has been putting in commanding displays for Les Dogs and is one of the rising stars in Ligue 1. The Italians are desperate for reinforcements following the knee injury to Simon Kjaer, which will keep the Denmark captain on the shelf for at least 6 months. Botman is seen as a perfect replacement, and it appears that Milan could face a fight to acquire his services. According to reports, Newcastle United are also looking to move for the 21-year-old, who's under contract until June 2025. However, the allure of playing for Milan, who are fighting for the Scudetto and have a good chance of playing Champions League football next season, might be too hard to turn down. Lille are likely to ask for at least €25 million for the youngster, so let's see if Milan are able to bring the price down a little. In the next summer transfer window, Erling Haaland will be one of the most talked about players alongside Kylian Mbappe. The young Norwegian is likely to be courted by the likes of Manchester United, Real Madrid and Chelsea, with reports claiming that he will cost interested parties at least €130 million, based on the heavy commissions and bonuses to be paid to his agent Mino Raiola and his father. While speaking to Sport 1, the outspoken agent suggested that he's going to make a decision that is right for his player, no matter what other people think of him. With my players, I changed the transfer market. We agents have created a second game in addition to football. It is the transfer window. Meanwhile, we're talking about a game 2 days a week and transfers for 5 days. Maybe the sporting directors hate me. Myself, I don't hate anyone. I'm just doing my job, and I look to go beyond borders. Well, at least Raiola knows what he's doing. Sooner or later, he's going to make a lot of money out of Haaland, but at the same time, he will find his client a club where he will continue to flourish and win trophies and individual honours. This week, things have not been looking up for reigning European champions Chelsea. The club's owner watched from the VIP box of the Gazprom Arena as the London Giants were held to a 3-3 draw by Zenit in what was really an entertaining affair for the neutrals, but quite a worrying sight for those who have Chelsea's best interests at heart. A last-gasp equaliser from Magomed Ozdoyev meant that the Blues dropped to second place in Group H. Basically, this means that the residents of Stamford Bridge will be unseeded for the last 16 draw on Monday. The likes of Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Ajax or Lille await them in the round of 16. However, Thomas Tuchel has other pressing concerns at hand before even thinking about who they face in late February. The Blues have let in 6 goals in the last 2 games and have won just once in their last 4 outings, which was a narrow 2-1 win over relegation candidates Watford. Performance levels have dropped considerably, which is a huge concern for the German tactician, whose team was flying just a few weeks ago and looked set to be part of the league title race. It's absolutely not the moment to talk about individual performances, about whether we are happy or not happy. Tuchel began his press conference on Wednesday. Chelsea have a grueling fixture list ahead, with 3 league games in 9 days, against the likes of Leeds United, Everton and Wolves. All 3 games are going to be really tough, and if they fail to navigate past these opponents, their title hopes might be over. Of course, no one is going to wield an axe over Tuchel so early. This is, after all, his first full season in charge at the club. However, Chelsea are a demanding club and are known to act swiftly if the downward spiral is not reversed. Many good managers have been there, and Tuchel will definitely be aware of it. However, if the Blues are able to win the next 3 games, the last few weeks will be forgotten and considered a minor blip. At the same time, you've got to empathise with Tuchel, who is without 3 of his most important players in N'Golo Kante, Jorginho and Mateo Kovacic. This, of course, is not going to be used as an excuse by the former PSG manager, who expects the same standards from the other players at his disposal. Tuchel himself is not very happy with how his players have approached games in recent times. He believes that the team acts a little differently when leading games. In simpler words, Chelsea have started taking their foot off the gas once they're in a commanding position, which is now being exploited by opponents who are now playing against them without fear. It's the basics where Chelsea are struggling and not the quality of players they've got, and Tuchel knows it. With a busy fixture list ahead, the German tactician won't have a lot of time to work things out in training. This means that Chelsea will need to rely on past experiences in order to get out of this spot of bother they find themselves in.